Good morning, Cobb County. My name is Metzger. I am your Cobb County Solicitor General, and today we bring to you our series of Smart Justice Works. Thank you for listening. Today I have a very special guest, Sheriff Craig Owens.
Well, good morning, and thank you for the invite.
I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you have a lot of things going on, thank you for being here.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
And this is your first time on my Smart Justice Works.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, first of all, let's start with the first thing, top of mind. How is your summer going?
Summer's hot, but it's going extremely well. Just wrapped up the All-Star game yesterday, so everything is going well for a nice summer for Cobb County.
Amazing. Hot Atlanta.
Yes, hot Cobb.
Right, hot Cobb. Well, thank you for keeping us safe here in Cobb. My prosecutors in court every day pretty much, and your deputies are very diligent in ensuring the courthouse is safe, a safe place to work.
Thank you for saying that. And we do try our best to keep it, well, we have to do more than our best. We do everything we can to keep the courthouse and your personnel safe as well.
And you're very responsive to all our needs. I don't think I've ever called you, or you have not called me right back. Right.
Well, we try to be definitely be responsive to all of our elected officials when they call us.
Thank you for that
Yes.
personal service to our office and to this county. I also want to thank you because recently my mock trial team, summer camp that we had last week, went to the stables. And of course, your team helped us and just gave the kids a fantastic time.
I hope they enjoyed it. We take pride in our horses, our stable horses that we have that we use in various different ways throughout the county, from community service to parades to enforcement activities as well. So I'm so glad I had an opportunity to go out there and see our horses. We got some real good horses.
Well, when we did a poll and asked them what was the best thing of your day, they said the stables.
Awesome.
Overwhelmingly.
Awesome.
I had kids who were scared of horses, and they ended up loving horses after that visit.
That's
because the stable staff was just so patient.
Right.
And the horses were really well trained.
They are. And horses are really a sensory item for kids as well. It can calm them down, get them in a different place than they were before. So a lot of therapy is used through horses as well. We use that as horse therapy as well.
Well, I know, what excites me when you have young children being exposed to new environments like that, it really helps develop the synapses in their brains, and it helps them develop cognitively, their emotional development. It all matters.
Yes, it
so
does.
Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you for saying that. And just so you know, we also use that for our inmate therapy for our inmates as well. Amazing. So we get them out the facility, come to our stables, they work with the horses, do a little bit of training with them to get them outside the facility, and also to get them some, I call it medicine.
Fresh air.
Fresh air medicine to get them back on the right track.
Fresh air is the best medicine, really.
Yeah, and it works very well for them as well.
Okay, that's really a great idea. Even dog therapy. We have a dog in our office, being trained currently.
Exactly.
I know we're all kind of on the same page when it comes to rehabilitation and growth. But let's talk about why we're here.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you. Well, first of all, congratulations on winning your election.
Well, thank you so very much. It was a good win for us, and I'm looking forward to serving the citizens of Cobb County for 4 more years.
It was a great win,
yeah,
and we're all very proud of you.
Well, thank you for saying that.
And you made some history the first time too. Yeah. You are the first African American sheriff in Cobb County.
That's correct.
That is amazing.
The 43rd sheriff of Cobb County and the first African American sheriff of Cobb County.
Coming to us with over 30 years in law enforcement.
Yes.
And military service.
So you know my background, you know everything. So yes, you're
well, they might
right.
not know.
Yes.
I feel like a podcast needs to be informative about what we do, but it also gives our audience, it gives the citizens of Cobb County an opportunity to get to know who we are.
Yes, it does.
So because from looking at your history and background, I see that you are someone who's always searching for truth and justice, but you have had a lifetime dedicated to that work.
It's about service for me. I would like, when you give that example, I say I have a lifetime of service. That's even giving service to my country.
That makes me feel old.
Yeah, lifetime giving service to my country or either to my community from which I live. And I've given 30 plus years here to this community of Cobb County. So
That is
I
amazing.
feel real good about that.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You should be getting thank you notes after this podcast. So, now that you're back in office, we know you have another couple of years, well, more than a couple, 3 years ago or so, 3.5.
Right.
What's your top priority in terms of things that you plan on, I guess, doing this year and the years to come?
For me, for the next 3 years for the Sheriff's Office, really working on our infrastructure, because we have some buildings that have been dated that hasn't been remodeled or did anything since 1984 and then 97.
Right.
So now for this next 3 years, we want to work on our infrastructure, really enhancing that, getting buildings remodeled. And I think by remodeling and keeping them up to date, it really keeps us from having to ask for a $3 billion new facility. So by rehabbing, keeping them and getting them back into shape, it saves the taxpayers money in the long run.
And it's a good point that you raise, because having worked in Fulton County, you don't want to have inmates where their locks are opening up and people can just walk out.
Right.
That
Absolutely.
is a safety hazard for your your department
Absolutely.
and the inmates. And I would go as far as to say, if you have a house, you have to invest in it every year, and it's no different.
Right.
This is
You're
a house
absolutely
where,
right. You got to invest in it to keep it up, keep the value up, so you don't have to spend more money in the future. And I think that's what we're doing here. And I have to say, our Board of Commissioners have been phenomenal in providing us with support to get those things done. So I would tip my hat to them, because they understand what we need to keep that facility up. It's a huge facility. It's basically a small city under the roof out there off County Services Road.
And I have to second that with our Board of Commissioners. We had to get some work done too, but we had and it's a little bit of asbestos.
Right.
That's a health concern,
yes.
right? Even if it's not something that makes people sick every day, it could, and that possibility is, we just don't want those issues.
And that's a jeopardy we can't take
up
with our employees. So yeah.
So totally in agreement. Our commissioners are very responsive to our needs,
And they are.
I think Cobb County has some really great and outstanding leaders, from what I can tell.
I agree, 110%.
And so, we talk about the criminal justice system. I know that you're sort of the heart and soul, because after all the work is done, and sometimes you're involved in the work, you have to do the housing part, but you see the trends, because you're booking them in, what's coming in, what's happening a lot of the time, and you get to see the personalities, the problems. What are the common trends that you see in terms of the criminal trends here in Cobb County?
I think what's really affecting us right now, which is really a very, very hard concern of mine, is the scams that's occurring to our elderly community, where our elderly community are losing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to scammers. And so we're trying to figure out ways to reduce those scams by putting out public service announcements, doing things on the sheriff app.
And when you talk about scams, can you sort of give some examples of those scams? Because I think even I called you on that Memorial Day weekend with someone who was pretending to be a Cobb bar lawyer, asking me to give them money. I was just like, that's very unusual.
Right, and the main one now that's hitting our elderly community is a scammer will call and say, I am Sergeant Joe Blow from Cobb County Sheriff's Office. Your loved one has been arrested. If you do not want him or her to stay in the detention center, send us $500 and we'll let them out for you. And so what the scammers do is find out when people are booked in, and then they figure out how they can find a next of kin, because the bookends are open record, and then they send them spam phone calls. The numbers are spoofed numbers, so you really can't trace it. And they give you the address of the courthouse. They give you the address of the sheriff's office. They know the name of the inmate, so they know your loved one. And it's really heart-wrenching when they hit these elderly couples with this, when their grandson or granddaughter may be incarcerated, and they want to get them out. And then call them, send me $500 or meet me at a gas station, give me gift cards and things of that nature. And it's happening, it's too frequent here in our county, and man, where we have a lot of money being lost on that.
Okay, so I guess the advice would be if somebody calls you, these are the flags that I think we would all point out to.
Right.
If it's urgent action, don't take action.
So the first thing is we would never call and ask for money, first and foremost.
Absolutely. Nor will the prosecutor's office, because we've had those too.
On the phone. And they said, well, what do we do? I said, well, if the sheriff's office is looking for you, we're going to come knock on your door. So we're not going to make a phone call, any of those things. We're not going to ask you for money. We never do that. So when anybody out, that's the key, is to ask you for money or send them money or gift card, then that should be a red flag. Hey, hang up the phone. Yeah,
and I think I got a call from an attorney who indicated once that an individual had been arrested. They contacted the next of kin and told them that the person was having a medical emergency and needed to be taken to the hospital, and they needed money for that. You guys handle those things.
We handle all of that. So if a person has a medical crisis while in our custody, of course, we're taking them to the hospital. We provide the service for them to be treated. As it costs at the sheriff's office and or the taxpayers of the county. Once they've been treated, they've been transported back to facilities. So that is absolutely a scam as well. There's so many out there.
Yeah, I think we're
if you miss grand jury. Now you got a $2,000 fine. If you don't pay us today, we're gonna come arrest you tomorrow. And that really puts people in the panic. And then they pay, and
Correct.
But so those are things that we're seeing a lot of right now in Cobb.
And another thing, and I think we've all received this because I also got this, and so did my new driver who's only 18, where they tell you that you have driven on a toll road and you have been flagged. They send you a text, and if you put your information in there with your credit card information, they will steal your identity.
Right.
So normally when we cite people, they get a notice in the mail, or an officer will stop you and give you a ticket.
Right.
So those texts are I think they have gone viral. Everybody's getting them.
Yeah. And they even came from the state as well, because they was using the state of Georgia for their driving license for that information. So there's so many scams out there, but there has been on a rise or uptick here in Cobb tremendously. And it's really costing us millions of dollars in what our residents here are losing.
Are there any remedies in terms of, I know being safe and making good decisions is one thing and being aware of it, other than educating the citizenry, is there anything else that's being done?
Yeah, so what we've been doing, trying to remedy so many things, is first, education is first. We've also been talking to our federal partners, trying to track down some of these ghost numbers and track down these individuals who are making these calls and where they're coming from. A lot of it seems to be overseas, and believe it or not, some of what's happening from local jails and or prisons. And we had to track those things back to there. So we're actively pursuing them and working with our federal authorities to help us pull that information up so we can actually go out here and make arrests on individuals doing these things.
Interesting. Wow. And also, I think another thing, probably last summer, and I've had a friend or two call me, swatting is an issue, which is very strange. I don't know why people do it. Exactly.
It can be very dangerous. Thank goodness we have not had that many issues here of that in Cobb. We've had a few, but I know some of our surrounding counties have a lot more than we have. So we've been very fortunate in that. But it is, I don't say it's not on the rise here, I would say, in Cobb, but it has been on the rise on surrounding counties around Cobb County.
Okay, and it's also something that happens.
Yes, it does.
And in instances like that, how would someone who is being swatted in their home respond?
Yeah,
because it's kind of frightening.
Yeah, it's frightening because they don't know why the police here and they're trying to get in. They're startled as well. Sometimes they can mistake that as someone trying to break in their home when they're beating on the door and yelling for them to come out. They're like, hey, is somebody trying to get in? So it really puts the homeowner in a bad spot too, because he can think or she can think they're being attacked. So that can lead into someone firing a weapon. So it can really get ugly real quick. So it has all type of repercussions for that, using people doing swatting.
And it's kind of frightening.
It is.
So I guess generally you just want people to stay calm.
Yeah, pick up the phone, call 911.
Call 911.
And then 911 really can talk you through, hey, well, we don't have a call. We have a call here that this is actually the police out here and this is why they're here. And they will tell you what's going on when you make that phone call.
And I think with something like that, it would be particularly frightening, because this happened to a good friend of mine, where you have teenage sons of color.
Yes.
It is particularly frightening. And I do have a friend who said this is the third time it's happened to her.
Oh, wow.
And there's been they don't know how to fix it. So someone just has that number and they do that.
And once they came up with the way to make false numbers or spoofing, as they call it, it makes it very difficult to track that back down to the individual.
Yeah.
There are ways we can do it at times, but a lot of times it's extremely difficult to
tracking
do that.
the caller.
Tracking that number.
Yeah, so, you know, and moving away, just, I guess, being calm is really important, contacting the police and making sure that you...
And not making a rash decision.
Right.
Because I know you're scared. A lot of stuff going on, you making a rash decision could cause you to get hurt there. So trying to stay calm, pick up the phone, call 911, and just make a good rash decision at that point in time.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
That's good advice. And, you know, talking about just... societally, obviously we have moved from, you know, county has changed a lot, and partly it's the leadership in Cobb that has caused some very positive changes. And I want you to sort of tell the audience a little bit about how you have or how you maintain and bring not just transparency but trust in law enforcement.
Right.
Because of that interaction, and we've had some interactions here in Cobb.
Right.
How we build trust between law enforcement and specifically marginalized communities.
Right. I think so. You know, I've been in Cobb. This is my 37th year, and it's just been. Well, I should say this: Cobb has tremendously grown since I've been here. I have seen a complete transformation of Cobb from when I got here in the late '80s until now. And what I always learned by being a good steward and working in the community is you have to be involved with the community to build that trust. So once I was elected as a sheriff, I knew I had to bridge that gap between law enforcement and the community, and specifically in our communities that feel they were underserved. So I made a point to make sure I reach out to them, have activities with them, go to churches in that community, be seen, and build that trust, not only with the communities, but with our local civic organizations as well, from the NAACP to SCLC to our different political parties, just to build that relationship that I tell them that, hey, I'm the sheriff of all and not just for one. Right. I think that was important for me to include that in that conversation with them. But then by them seeing me out in the community and actually working, I think that helps ease that burden as well. Well, hey, he's just a regular guy. He's out actually doing what we're doing.
Right. We
can talk to him, we can touch him, we can see him, and he can relate to what we're doing, and he's open, you know, to what's happening here. And I think that has made a difference for me in my first term, and of course we continue that in the second term as well. But I think building those relationships in the communities, showing them that you really care for them, it's just not lip service, that if you tell them you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Right. When they call, answer the phone and be receptive.
Absolutely.
And do not respond to them, and go to events in the community and show them, hey, I'm part of this community too. And I think that really, to me, it has made a big difference, and I think it has for the community from which I serve now.
And I know that you do like the back to school.
Yes. Funny you mentioned that. We have a back to school coming up in this month.
I know.
And we're looking at giving out 5,000 book bags this year.
That's fantastic.
Not only book bags, but we're one of the few that give out teacher supplies. So we'll probably give out right around 1,000 teacher supplies. But not only that, when we give out teacher supplies, we also give our teachers gift cards between $30 and $50 for each teacher backpack.
And we know that they spend a lot of money out of their pocket.
And they need stuff for that. Right. So we try to ease that little burden. So I'm very happy about that.
And again, I brought that up because I know it's something that you have done every year, and you're very proud of it.
Yes, and I'm extremely proud. You know, specifically for our kids and those teachers, you know, just give them something so they can have some extra to buy some things in the classroom that they have normally pay out of their pocket, like you just mentioned. It works out so good for them. And this year, the school superintendent will be there.
That's
so
amazing.
That
is amazing that he'll participate this year.
He'll be there July 30th, I think, today. Okay. So he'll be there. He's going to participate in it. And it's going to be a great thing.
That is a good thing. It's, you know, what amazes me is, you know, each of us in our respective roles can do something.
Yes.
And if we all do something, then we're going to have an impact at some point.
I agree.
And we don't all have to do the same things, but we all can all do something.
Right. It's just like your office. Your office is doing some phenomenal things. You've been changing the perception of the community about the events and things you've been holding.
We try.
And no, you've been doing some great things. And I think, but what we can do collectively is sometimes partner on a few things and reach a broader audience. Sometimes we partner.
I would love to partner with you on anything really that you have that deals with the community, because I think that, you know, from what I can tell, you do the community policing aspect, you interface with the community, you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk.
Yeah.
And I would be very comfortable working alongside somebody who doesn't just talk the talk.
Right.
Because we have a lot of people in politics who talk the talk and don't walk the walk.
Yeah.
And I think
don't keep those promises.
We're right. So, you know, at some point, you know I ran for office because I wanted to walk the walk.
Right.
So I'm happy that you're doing that, and you're sort of leading the way. You're a trailblazer. I don't recall ever having a time with your predecessors hearing about things that impacted Cobb County in the way that you have.
Right.
So that has been really a very impressive change.
I took that to heart, even when building relationships, seeing what our community really needed. I felt we needed a back to school type event for those. But not only that, we have children during the holidays, and we do other things. Just to throw this out so you know that, for Christmas time.
Yeah.
We give out about 3,000 toys every Christmas to kids in the county who would not have had a Christmas if we wouldn't have done it. We call it the Cobb Sheriff Santa on Wheels.
That's great.
And we go to different neighborhoods and give out presents to those kids.
That's good.
They set lines, lines be 200-300 kids. And we do that every year because we want to make sure every kid have an enjoyable holiday.
And I think about food.
Yeah, and we do food as well.
Right. Food insecurity has been one of my big pet peeves.
Right.
Like the sandwich project, you know, because I always feel like during summer children struggle. During the holidays, they might not have a nice meal. They might not have a turkey, you know.
Right.
So that I don't know why I think about food. It's just kind of my
But it's
thing.
important because you'd be surprised at how many kids may not have enough money to buy lunch. So we have a Sheriff's Foundation, and what we normally do is we'll pick up the tab with the Sheriff Foundation will for kids who do not have enough monies to pay for lunch. So they'll pick that tab at the end of the year and pay those bills for those kids. That's something I think is great for the Sheriff's Foundation to do that as well, help our youth out. And then and it sounds kind of crazy, but it's a mandate of me as a sheriff that all of my command staff quarterly we go down and work at Trinity Food Bank and we give out food.
You mandate that?
Mandated, yes. That's our way to make sure they go out.
I have been thinking about mandating community service because I do think if you're working for the government and you're doing this work, it is public interest work, and you should do something for the community.
Right, absolutely.
As
we
the
just
employee,
give it back to them. And when they see, you know, the leadership out there working and giving, handing out food on a Saturday morning, it's not so taxing. It's only a couple hours.
Yeah.
But you see the faces on the individual that you just gave a box of food to.
Yeah.
To me, that should reward enough.
That's
you
amazing.
See, and they say thank you. So, and are you the sheriff? I said I am. You out here? I am.
That's amazing.
And why are you here? I said, because I want to help you and serve you. And that if you see the faces on these people and the responses, to me it just warms my heart. And so for me, what better way to have a community service that the whole unit can get a whole sheriff's office.
And there's a certain feeling when you're doing things as a team. It builds a bond. It makes that team a stronger team.
Absolutely.
You know, when we were, we did it was a Live Safe shelter, and we went all in and cooked. All right, I'm not the best cook, okay?
But you tried. That's all that matters.
They were very appreciative. But what happened is that as we were doing it as a team, our bonds were getting stronger. And we were feeling like we all had the same purpose and the same value.
Right.
I think there's something to that in working and having your team participate in these community events.
Oh, absolutely.
I haven't mandated it yet, but it's not a bad thought to have each person have a number of community hours that they have to do for the community, and you know, consider that.
It's not really a lot, in my opinion. If we do it once a quarter and they do it 2 hours, maybe at the max 3 hours a quarter.
That's not terrible.
That's not taxing anyone personal time.
It's not terrible.
And actually, I tell you, every time they go out there, they all have such a great feeling when they walk out. Sheriff, I'm glad we did this, and so that makes me feel that I made a good decision. And they want to go. It's not like I had to get them going, kicking and streaming. We're going back, you know. So they love that community outreach, and they do a good job.
And I think, you know, people always think you're giving, but really you're receiving.
Yes. That's true.
You're getting a lot more because the satisfaction, there's really no price for that at the end of the day. I want to move on to something that is sort of an issue, and you've tackled this from the very get-go. It's probably even been one of the reasons why, a lot of people voted for you, because you've had a plan. We look at issues like mental health.
Oh yeah.
And substance abuse.
Yeah.
Of course, the easy part, I don't want to say too easy, but arresting someone is maybe easier than having to house them and deal with those problems.
Yes, it is, because not only we have to house them, we have to deal with if they're on some type of substance abuse, we got to deal with their rehab. We got to get them the treatment they need to try to get off that drug, and then get them back to where they should be. And that takes a process. Not only takes a process, it costs money.
It does cost
and
a lot.
And you got to have
money.
the right medical personnel, the right medication to get them off these drugs and things. So it's very extensive process that we take on once they get to the facility, and we have to finish that process. And in regards to the mental health, when I took office, that was it still is a huge issue, not only in Cobb, but across the United States. And unfortunately, your county detention centers and or jails are becoming your de facto mental health care institutions, which is not what we're supposed to be. With over 80% of my population, if not more, have some type of mental health care issue.
And they're not really all high risk,
No.
There are a lot of them are low level offenders.
Different stages, yes. And so, but just having that amount of people with those issues is something you have to deal with. So we were the first sheriff's office in the state to have a 24-hour mental health care professional on site. Either they be in person or they can do a telemed so they can actually see them. And also we're the first where we take our body camera, and as we in processing them, the doctor can see exactly what's going on in the individual as we process them as well, and then talk to the deputy, or to the nurse.
You screen
them as they're looking at them and say, well, no, he needs to go to the hospital, blah. So that gives us another precursor thing to check for, and it helps us out tremendously in those things. So, but mental health care for us is a priority.
And a problem.
And a problem. Priority and a problem, right?
It's
an expensive problem as well.
It is.
To take care of those inmates. They start PO calling in the morning at 7 and don't finish at 7 o'clock at night.
And here's the thing, which makes me a little frustrated, not just for you, but for all of us in law enforcement and prosecution. Once you have that in the jail, even if we were to release them, the problem persists, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is, if they're not treated outside of the jail system, there's going to be another criminal offense, and then they're going to be back. It's almost like a revolving door with the same group of people, but no permanent, long-term solution.
Right. And so a lot of times, we can get them, for lack of better terms, right while they're in the facility, but they may only, sometimes these are short-term fixes for them. And they're clean and ready to get out, and they're fine, but 2 weeks later they're right back because they, as a lack of good terms, fell out the wagon.
Right, and from a defense attorney's perspective, this is what we have to deal with. You don't want to hold someone in jail just to get medical treatment, when you would not even hold them that long if they were found guilty of the crime.
Right.
So we have this
it's a tough
civil
decision.
liberties really valid question. We can't just hold someone. It isn't right.
Right. Yes.
It's not legal.
Right.
Right. Just because they need care, they need to be in a hospital.
They need to be in an appropriate facility, and jail is not that appropriate facility.
It is not.
Right.
It's not. So there are problems at every level of this issue that need to be addressed, on a very on a larger
the local,
scale.
the federal, at every level need to be addressed as mental health care. Since they closed down majority of all the mental health care facilities across the state, we don't have many.
It was back in the 80s.
Yes, so there's not many. Maybe 3 or 4 across the whole state.
That's
in
deplorable,
Atlanta
really.
Metro by itself, you probably got over 5 million people. But if you add the big 5 counties, that'll take away all the hospitals. They won't even include what you got out in your suburbs and smaller counties. So
and the
we got to do something.
institutions working. I am happy that we have Commissioner Eric Allen, because he worked for DBHDD. He has a background, and I think maybe someone like him can help steer us
in the right direction.
In a direction where we can get some more resources in Cobb County, because we really only have our CSBs, which are what, Highland Rivers.
That's who we use.
That's who we have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that
but they're always
they
full.
do a very good job,
Yeah.
but they can't really serve the population.
Because of
we
capacity,
have.
they don't have that capacity.
They don't.
They don't have that much bed space. They have some, but not that much.
Right.
So that creates a problem. And you think about this: of folks who have who are suffering from mental health care, a lot of them are in facilities waiting to have a exam done to see if they're competent to stand trial. That's only done by the state.
And they take their time. Well, they don't take their time,
well,
but they just can't get to everything.
They can't get
on
everybody.
Time. Right.
So in some places you have an individual sitting in a facility a year, 2 years, 3 years,
right,
just waiting to get an exam, psychological exam, and to see if they competent to stand. And they're just sitting there.
Right. Pre-trial.
Yeah.
Pre-adjudication.
They haven't been convicted of a crime, but they're sitting there for that. So that adds more people and more time to facilities that, in my opinion, shouldn't be there. If we can get them tested, get them out of there, they competent to stand trial, they're either going to go to trial or not.
And it also increases the risk
of
recidivism.
Absolutely.
Because you're putting them in a setting that's really not healthy for their mind.
Right. Exactly.
I can't imagine jail being healthy for a person's mind.
It's not. Jail is not a conducive area for people to be in who have mental health issues. Right. It's not built that way.
Exactly.
That's not what they're built for.
Exactly. The purpose is quite specific, and it's not for mental health. Tell me a little bit, speaking about these potential issues, what do you have, I guess, what are your strategies and what kind of training do you provide for de-escalation in the event that things are going haywire?
Yeah. So we do a lot of de-escalation training, and also not only the training itself, but the equipment we use is geared toward de-escalation. We use things like the bolo wrap, which is a non-lethal device. All what it does is wraps the inmate up so he can't move and he'll fall to the ground without having to get physical with him or her. We use another device called the glove. It's a shocking.
Are these actual devices?
You have
to show me these things. I don't know.
It's a glove you put on. It tases them for life, but you don't have to get physical.
So no touch by the officer.
No, they touch them with the glove, but they just put their hands on it. Just immediately they stop what they're doing.
Okay.
So things like that to prohibit them from escalating and pretty much get it de-escalate quicker. And of course, they have regular de-escalation courses our deputies go through, which helps also.
So talking doesn't
that
work
verbal
really,
judo
right?
works sometimes to try to talk them down, but sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
So then you have to have other tools. And our other tools, I like to say, is less lethal. So we want to use things that's not going to kill someone. Right. Something that's going to be able to subdue them till we can get them under control and then get them back down to a state that they can be talked to or be managed and go where we want them to go.
And I know you have actually, you have like padded rooms. You've done some very specific things so that people are not self-harming.
Right.
Can you kind of elaborate?
We increased our padded cells in our facility because of the amount of folks who come there with mental health care issues and with suicidal tendencies. And we did that because we know we had to do it. We didn't have enough. You know, in the future, as we look at it, as I think a new modern jail will have a whole building for infirmary, mental health care with specialty cells in those. And that's the wave of the future. Okay. As you see new agencies building futuristic jails, that's been included to have
Sounds very sci-fi.
Yeah, they're having their own, pretty much their own infirmary on property, but in that infirmary, they have a psychological ward, a mental health care ward, and then also have another decompression facility in there as well. And it's a whole separate building. Because sometimes when you're treating people with mental health care issues, they don't need to be in a jail-type setting, but they need to be in a confinement area. So if we can build something like that.
Structured.
Correct, and it don't seem like a jail, but it actually is.
But not stressful.
But, right, and because those cells stress them out. We can build it as confinement, we can secure them, but still get the treatment. They still under our custody, care, and control. Then we probably can get a better product sometime and get them out of there as well.
Okay, that sounds like a wave for the future.
Yes.
Something to
look
forward to. I
think that's the way a lot of them are going now.
Yeah.
I kind of saw some of that when Fulton County was designing the jail they want. And I went to Tennessee and visited their jail up there. They just built a brand new one, and that's how they kind of built that one. So it's kind of the wave of the future what's coming up.
Okay, so just have a little less confinement feel, but
Right.
more structure.
More structure. It is still confined, but it doesn't look like a jail cell.
Right.
It looks more of a mental health care place. But it is absolutely confined. You can lock down, but it
Right.
just doesn't have that look. It's just a different look
A different feel.
and different feel. Yes.
Right, right. That might actually help a little bit, but you still, I mean, you would still need a lot of healthcare professionals
Oh, absolutely.
too.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's money.
That's money.
It's funding.
Yeah. But that's something that, and that's why when we said earlier, it's going to have to be all levels to help out in this mental health care, your local, your state and federal. And those are things we're hoping that, hopefully that the state and federal will fund, because they know the issues we're having across the United States with no mental health care, facilities. Help us fund and build facilities that we can have to alleviate some of those issues.
I mean, my issues, I mean, I would love to see families who really want to help. I mean, if you have, say, for instance, a mental health child or spouse or parent, and you still have to go to work every day and care for them. These are the things, I actually started a little pilot project, and these are the people I was talking to here in Cobb County. They're your everyday people trying to go to work. And what happens when that person, you can't monitor them 24/7.
No, that's true.
You can't be there. So you
Right.
go to work, you try to put them somewhere safe in the house, and they leave and run away.
And then they wind up coming and seeing me.
Exactly. And when they leave and run away, they go cause trouble.
Right.
And then the parents are like, we can't bond them out every week. We don't have the financial bandwidth to keep doing this. Keep them.
Right.
That's what we
and
get,
believe it
right?
or not, that is said a lot. Hey, the bond is only $300. Come get your, well, we can't do this. Keep them.
Because it's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, well, keep them. We can't pay for the meds. You just keep them. I like, this is your son, daughter, loved one.
What I get from that is it's sort of exhaustion. It's
They're
kind of like
frustrated.
exhaustion. They do it every single day. They are the sole resource, and they are just
Sole provider.
done.
Yeah.
Right. They have just reached a limit where they can do no more. It's like, I had someone tell me, in order for me to survive, I have to let my mother go. It was the
Wow.
saddest, the hardest, the most heart-wrenching thing, because my position is you never let your family
Right,
member
absolutely.
go. But then you have to put yourself in their shoes and see if this person is also on the edge.
Causing you so much issues at home, and you can't get your life stable.
And you don't know if you're going to sleep and wake up and she's not going to come at you with a knife in the middle of the night.
That's true. That can happen.
Then maybe you want them in a jail, because
Right.
that's what he said. I woke up in the middle of the night, my mother was over me staring at me, and she has a serious mental health condition.
Wow.
Can you keep me safe from my mother? I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
So
That's- that's
you
tragic.
have to put yourself in their position and see, we don't have any resource for people who are trying, and they just give up.
Right. And it's tough to get into a state system.
It's very hard.
Very hard. And that's why unfortunately they wind up in your local facilities like mine.
Exactly, exactly. Which is a short-term solution to a very big problem. And so you do have these cases, and I just wanted to ask you briefly, how do you communicate all these things we're talking about to the public so that they can either kind of help assist with policy in the future? Because we need a lot of policy work.
Yeah, so for me, I put a lot of information out on our app.
Okay.
It's a free app that they can download. It's called the Cobb County Sheriff's app. It's a free.
So if they were to go to the Cobb County Sheriff's app, just Google it,
and
it'll
Google
come
it,
up.
it pop up, just download it,
Okay.
and you have all the information. Some of our policies and procedures on there.
Okay.
The latest trends from where the scams or fraud alerts are on there. Book-in photos and stuff is on there for a person that's in our facility. Frequently asked questions are there. Anything that's happening real time, from traffic, wanted person lookout. So it's a plethora of information on that app that we ask everyone to get so they can keep real time information what's happening. Not only the sheriff's office, what's happening around the county as well.
So just
pretty
updates.
successful. Yeah, it's
and
updated
current.
daily. Current
Current.
updates,
Okay.
weather updates, traffic, all-star updates. Anything that's happening currently is on that
Where
app.
do you get your weather updates these days?
I get them very quickly and very often.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know. That's good to know. Maybe
Yeah.
we won't have any tragedies here in Cobb County. Speaking of weather and natural disasters and just things that, well, we do we have not had any mass shootings. I don't even want to say the word. I don't
Right.
want to bring that into the sphere. But just things that are big and bad and ugly in communities.
Right.
Is there a plan? What are the
Oh,
strategies?
absolutely. There's a domestic terrorism plan. There's
Okay.
a hazardous material plan. There's a plane crash plan.
Okay.
There's a tornado plan.
We do get those.
We have those. So we have all type of preparedness plans already in place that we do different scenarios with on a quarterly.
Active shooter.
Do it all the time.
Right.
So we prepare for the worst and hope for the nothing, as I like
We
to say.
always hope that nothing
Right,
happens.
and so we do run, at minimum, we're going to do a tabletop exercise on different things so that we can at least write out or walk out how we're going to do this if this occurs. And I give you an example. Let's say we got a weather plan and we have a tornado come. We've had inclement weather plans, or we actually put in action from snow days to flooding here in Cobb.
I do remember Snowmageddon.
Yes, and things of that nature. The fire department tests our emergency sirens. I think it's on a monthly basis.
Okay.
You can hear them. They're testing them throughout the whole county. Very good system. And then good thing about it is we all work together in public safety. It's not just everybody working there on silo.
Right.
That's police, fire, 911.
Is
the
this
whole
county
department.
level, or are we
County.
county and state?
County and state, depending on what type of preparedness exercise
Okay.
we're working on.
Okay.
We may do some joint exercise with the state as well. Like, let's say we did something for the All-Star game. That was a county, but we also had state officials involved in that, and federal.
So we'll have like state troopers and
We have state, we have somebody like the
some
GBI,
coordination.
it'd be the FBI involved as well. So it was a massive coordination to pull this event off by several agencies, state, local, and federal. And we do the same thing on local levels for local area disasters as well. We may have to call in the state for
we
assistance.
do have some
and things
flood-ins here in Cobb.
Oh,
I think we've
absolutely.
had a couple in the past.
Yes, we have.
And those can affect the roadways.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we had,
So-
several years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, had the bad floods in down in South Cobb. So it has unfortunately happened here in Cobb County.
It has.
But I think we're prepared for it. I
Better
think we
prepared
trained
than
for it.
20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I think we're prepared for it. We trained for it. We got equipment now. You learn from your past mistakes. And so we learn what we didn't have then, what we need to acquire, and we have acquired those tools and equipments. So I think Cobb County is pretty much ready for any incident that occurs in this county.
And one of the things I learned, which I sort of, I guess maybe I knew, but I hadn't paid attention to before being elected, was that we do have a lot of meetings. Sometimes your whole day is meetings.
Yes,
And
that's
it's
true.
every department coming together with problems and solutions. We talk a lot.
Right.
We do. And sometimes it's a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't even have time for a lunch break. But it's a good thing because that means that we are all communicating and we're trying to create solutions before we have big problems.
Right. Absolutely.
So that is something, now that I'm entrenched in this position, I appreciate that, because there are things that I'm not even thinking about.
Right.
And you guys are talking about it. You're like, well, maybe we should do digital or technology. And,
Right.
and it's a good thing
Oh, yeah.
because where we don't have the resources, the sheriff's office might have the resources.
Right, and that's a perfect good example, because you may not have it, someone else may have it, can give it to you, loan it to you, whatever the case be. That's a good thing about being Cobb. We normally are very good about sharing resources and information and having open dialogue, which I think, in my opinion, I know it's a little biased, makes us one of the best counties in the state of Georgia, without bar none.
Collaboration is really a very good thing for a community. You cannot run a safe community without collaboration.
Right.
So it's really important. And I do like that the egos don't get in the way. The people just actually want to do good work.
Just want to get in and help people and get it done. So that's the main thing.
That has been my very short experience. I wanted to ask you, as we close out, you've done this for a very long time. You've been in public service, but you were wearing a different hat
Right.
as a sheriff. Tell me what you're most proud of over the past years that you've accomplished, that you look at it and you just can't help but smile and grin.
Yeah, that's a tough question, because I've been so proud of so many things that we've done in my first term, that I think not only making history, but we've made history since I've been in office. Meaning, we were the first office, well, not first, we were the only sheriff's office in the nation in 2023 to receive the Triple Crown Award. And that was a feat that no one thought we were going to get done prior to the next year's election.
Yeah.
And so I was extremely proud of that, but I'm also extremely proud of our work in the community. I think since we've been in office, we have built one of the best community engagement teams in the Metro Atlanta area. The work we've done in the community over the last 3+ years, in my mind, I think has been phenomenal. We work in schools, we work with the elderly. We're everywhere, and that's by design and on purpose. It's not just because we're trying to be seen. I want to be seen and felt, so they can know that the sheriff's office is there, and we really, really, truly want to be a part of this community. And so I'm so extremely happy about that. When people say, we see sheriffs everywhere, you're at the churches, you're at the athletic events, you're everywhere, and you're always trying to do something for the community.
Don't you get tired?
I do, but it's a good time.
It's a good tired.
It's a good time.
Right.
And you know, we created a Sheriff's Cup, something to get our youth involved back in athletics. It's televised. It was televised on TV. You know, and we won, by the way. Cobb County won the Sheriff Cup out of the full Metro.
Really?
Yes,
That's
we did.
Amazing.
Our 6th grade team from Makia High School won the championship.
Well, my husband taught there for many years.
Yeah, so we're very extremely happy about that. You know, I'm just so happy with that community involvement we've done.
That's great.
I think is my priority. We can win accolades at the sheriff's office. That's fine, but the accolades I want to receive is keeping our community safe and keeping them happy, and keep that trust level that we've been working so hard to gain where it should be. And that way they know if something goes wrong, their sheriff or the sheriff's office is going to be there to support them, and they can look up to us to be there on time.
Absolutely. If you were talking to a young person who was thinking of becoming a sheriff someday, and they were just, I don't know, still in school and just looking up to you, admiring everything that you've just said today, and wanted a journey just like yours, what advice would you give them?
Not only finish high school.
Oh, definitely.
But go to college. Get your college degree. Education would be your overall key to success in law enforcement. It would definitely get you where you need to be. But also, you really got to want to do it. This job is not something you do for pay, because we're not the most highly paid professionals.
Absolutely not.
We're not. We're the personnel that usually. How many people do you know that run to gunfire versus run away? How many people you know that will risk your life and die for someone you don't even know every day? So it takes a different type or a special person, in my opinion, to do this job. You know, because it's selfless service, and for someone who's willing to give their life to someone they don't know, I think that's a special person.
That's beyond selfless.
Yeah. And so you gotta want to do this job, and you want to be that person who really want to give back to that community from which you're here to serve.
Right. So a heart for service is really. I would always start out, if you want to be in public, you want to do public service interest work, have a heart for service. Because if you don't start from there, it doesn't matter how smart you are.
Right.
If you're doing it for the power, you're not going to be great at it. You have to start out with a heart, the right heart.
Gotta have it.
Yeah.
Gotta have the right heart for this job here.
Well, I want to thank you so much
you for inviting me.
being here. That concludes our Smart Justice Works today. I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to this really great just conversation that I had with our Cobb County Sheriff, and I want to thank you. It was just very enlightening. I kind of knew a lot of this, but I'm now more so in awe of him. Thanks, and have a great day.